The Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast is dedicated to all things Horus Heresy. This podcast delves into the grimdark universe where Primarchs clash, legions rise, and loyalties fracture faster than a Land Raider's track. But it's not just about the lore of the Horus Heresy. The Accountabilibuddies also explore the gaming side of things, from painting and modeling tips to product reviews and ideas to help you in your hobby. So, whether you're a seasoned Forge World veteran or a fresh-faced scout, this podcast is your Vox channel to the galaxy. Expect discussions on lore, modeling, gaming, and maybe even the shenanigans that your hosts somehow seem to find their way into. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there are only two things you can count on: heresy and your trusty Accountabilibuddies.
Welcome to episode 104 to the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. Tonight we have action-packed, jam-full episode of just stuff and things and more stuff and possibly more things until we no longer have stuff and things. But we're going to introduce everybody starting off. I'm Jack, and tonight we have our lovely hosts of
Dan,
Duncan,
Jamie,
and John.
and Jack. All right, to get things started, we're going to go ahead and do our station identification.
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HeresyABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HeresyABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HeresyABB at checkout.
And thank you to our patron subscribers, members, fellow buddies, if you will. Let's start it off with hobby progress. John, do you want to get us started?
Sure. So this week during our Wednesday hobby hangout, I managed to drill holes in a whole bunch of things I'm going to be using in the Memorial Garden. I found a very large Battlefleet Gothic escort. It's about 5 or 6 inches long that was available through some of the forums or email lists way back in the ye old days. I'm going to use that in the garden, and I got all the little fighters for that clipped out and ready to put on pins that I ordered this week. I found all of my old Epic stuff that I'd been saving for Titanicus bases and got all those guys clipped out and put together. And then I pinned a whole bunch of different aircraft and BFG ships as well. Really kind of filled up a whole armadas full of stuff ready for the memorial table to be set up. And then this week during some cleaning, I found an old squat heavy weapon gunner that I mounted up as well. I forgot what it's like to drill into metal and how heat transfers and things like that, but it was good fun to have that reminder. And then yesterday, we ran our annual Thanksgiving event, and while I ran the 10,000 points per side Apocalypse mega game of Heresy, we had a mega game of Legions Imperialis going on the table behind us. That was 3-on-2 over there. During the mega game, it was a big blast. Everyone had fun. I brought 5,000 points of Imperial Knights, so my 12 Armigers and nearly a dozen other full-size Knights with their...
So John, please tell me about whose Brass Scorpion that was with the on the Sky Shield landing pad from the pictures I saw.
Yeah, so that was John Stanford. We use Sky Shield landing pads as terrain, so there's no need to get your
Ruffle to the butt.
gamer PTSD pulled back up.
Yeah, because that's that with void shield generators are just everybody's favorite thing.
Void shield generators and quad mortars on the base, maybe.
And Thousand Sun and Raven Guard dreadnoughts, and then Warhounds with no weapons on them. But anyways, yes.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it
was a 10,000 points per side. It was a fun blast that we had. Ended up starting at about 11 o'clock. Only 3 people showed up initially, so I had to go back to the apartment or go back to my storage unit across the street and get my stuff to come in, and then ended up playing till about 5 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Well, that's awesome.
We got
that your storage shed is like right across the street from the game store.
Yeah, no, it ended up working out really good for me. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm only a block away from the storage, so it's if I had to, I could walk to the game store. It really worked out in my favor picking a house here. So we ended up having a big blast there. Everyone enjoyed the food. Everyone enjoyed the games and the terrain and everything. And then I came home and started clipping out more epic stuff. And so that's what I've been working on for the last week. What about Duncan?
Oh, well, let's see here. The past week during the hobby hangout, I got 20 shoulder pads taken from bare resin all the way up to painted and put on my the squad of reavers that I'm working on to get done within the 2-week time period.
You also gave everybody arachnophobia, but
I did give John arachnophobia and other people a bad case of arachnophobia.
We don't talk about that.
Let's see, what else did I get done? I did get 10 more shoulder pads, but 10 backpacks, 2 blued, or to the point of bluing. So they will hopefully be what I'm working on for these same reavers this coming Wednesday, which we should be having the hobby hangout Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, I will be there.
Yeah, I plan on being there.
Aaron, Dan, and I'm gonna be there late too. So
Well,
yeah,
there
I've got to smoke a turkey. My buddy invited me to his place for Thanksgiving, so I've got to cook stuff for him.
Well, you heard it here, folks. We're going to have Hobby Hangout on this Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving, and we'll be sitting here hobbying away while everyone else is getting stuff ready for Thanksgiving. So, just come and join us. You can find us on our Discord that you can get linked to from HeresyPodcast.com, which also carries links to our sponsors who have discounts and possible sales coming up for Black Friday.
And
it gets you a link to our store, which has our shirts and hoodies, which we also might be announcing a sale for here in a little bit later in the show. We'll see about that.
And what was that website?
HeresyPodcast.com.
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 Yep, it can take you to our Discord and everything else. So yay!
877 text now.
All right, JG Wentworth.
JD Wentworth. 8775.
Oh Lord, I do not miss that.
Well, at least it's not Brian singing show tunes.
Yeah.
Suzerain.
Yeah, no, let's not do that either.
Not do that either.
Yep.
Oh.
So anyway, that's all I've worked on for anything. So let's kick over to Jack. Jack, what have you done this week?
I have completed my hobby goal that we did last episode, and I put out that podcast. And then I decided to go for stretch goals. So I deckled the inside of my Mastodon. I put source lighting inside the Mastodon. I sealed that, and now I have the outside main body of it because I had the wings, the track sections already done. I have the body of it, the 4 different shades of blue that I do for my Ultramarines, and that's currently drying. While I had the blues in my airbrush, I went ahead and did how did they pronounce it on the live stream? Dorado. I cannot do it however they said the name of this thing, Daredeo. But it's apparently
Dorito.
not
Burrito.
it is not called that. Apparently, it's a Dorito or I don't know how those English people did it. But that now has blue on it. And all of that is drying. Tomorrow I'll be able to come back through, put a clear coat over both of those, to protect what I've done. And then once that's done, I'll be able to temporarily put the track section on it and kind of decide how I want to break up the blue on the body, because right now it's a lot of blue with nothing interrupting it, which I really like that blue, but I have all of my other super heavy tanks are for the most part this blue with a couple things picked out here and there. I think I want to do some striping or something on this to set it out a little bit more. Don't know what yet, but I have to let everything dry before that. After I get the striping done, then it's on to decal work, the details on the outside. Since this is a holiday week and I'll be at home most of the time, and I've actually been motivated to hobby, I should actually be able to probably get my line server done between now and the end of Hobby Hangout on Wednesday. Also fired up the 3D printer, printed out something for Secret Santa for somebody who should be very, very happy about what they're getting. And then I kicked it over to Dan to talk about what he's done.
All right. Well, so Wednesday during the Hobby Hangout, I was logged into my laptop and working. So I did not log in. But I am continuing to build my Cataphractory Command Squad unit that's going to go with Dolar, just Dolar. And as soon as the podcast is over, I'm going to go downstairs and dig through and find my Adeptus Titanicus stuff so I can see if I have any epic stuff to send John and get in the mail tomorrow. And I received my Secret Santa stuff that I need to put in and ship out tomorrow. So not a ton, but I am on vacation this week, so I do plan on hopping in for the Hobby Hangout this week, and still plan on having these dudes at least primed by next week's episode, which was our hobby goals. So, hasn't gone. Jamie hasn't gone yet, right?
I don't believe I have. So this week I got done stuff for our hobby challenge. I got another tactical squad done that I didn't know, that I totally forgot that I had to do. I got the last 2 bikes done, Golden Keshik bikes. And then I started on a las gun, so a 5-man las gun team, or las cannon team, and started on 2 Contemptor Dreadnought. And then I've been 3D printing stuff. And right now I am actually doing layouts for special weapons for people for events that they don't know that they need.
It'll have 4 or 5 cents.
Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Hey Dan, I hope whatever you're talking about isn't a secret, because we could definitely hear you there for a second. Was it your password you were saying?
Sorry, my wife apparently got a splinter, and my kid was looking for tweezers, and I told him the only ones I know where they are my hobby tweezers.
I was really hoping you were giving us secret password stuff. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Dang.
Nothing that exciting.
Sorry. Carry on, Jamie. I apologize.
I thought I muted, but apparently I hit the wrong button.
I'm done. Do I need to redo mine?
Nope. I'm just gonna leave that in because it's making fun of Dan, and that's my favorite pastime. So that's
Oh my lord.
That's everybody, right? Yep, that's everybody. So I feel like we have some announcements, some news, and the main topic of tonight. So do we want to do news, announcements, news? Which order do we want to do them in?
Let's do the news because it's funny.
News. All right. I have a question for you, John, before we go into the news.
Sure.
Okay. Dicking around on Friday afternoon, totally forgetting about everything that was going on Friday. Scroll Facebook on my computer, discuss board, quickly run out of stuff to do, and I saw Heresy models that were being apparently previewed during this. But the thing that stopped me in my track for literally 2 minutes is Little Pig. Little Pig. I've never heard that thing called Little Pig before. Is it
I
just
haven't
me?
either.
Okay, cool.
No.
Because
no one calls it the Little Pig.
Because you have
I've
what,
heard
7 of them?
I've heard it called the angry mallard before.
Yeah, I've heard mallard, especially because the paint scheme they previewed looks like a mallard.
Right.
I don't have any of them. I have 0 official Arvicesses, which is how I'm going to pluralize that.
Arvicide?
No, Arvicesses.
Well, it's already got an S. It wouldn't be Arvicide?
Nope.
Okay.
Imperium doesn't make sense.
Put an
I
X
have
on the end of it. It's Arvox.
I have two flying wings that I use for my Solar Ox, and then I picked up 6 cargo shuttles from Mantic to use. And the reason I bought the freaking cargo shuttles is because they don't have a gun on them, and the Arvicesses rules doesn't have any guns. And lo and behold, during this preview, they're like, we added guns to the Arvis.
And missile launchers.
And missile launchers.
And door gunner.
Yeah, the door gunner is completely new. The front used to be able to take an single autocannon, a twin-linked autocannon, a Havoc launcher, or a missile launcher. So I have no clue what they're going to put on the front of this thing now.
Have we checked so the rules don't have guns, right?
The 2.0 rules do not have guns. 1.0 had a ton of guns.
Well, what about...
Has anyone checked that nobody stealthily uploaded a 2.0 rule book over the weekend or anything stupid like that?
So the Arvis is in the Solar Ox book. So if they updated it, it would be in the book.
Model has a gun. It would be just like them to throw a new.
There's nothing on the FAQ page right now. They said it would come when the model comes.
Okay.
So I started us off in the middle of this conversation. So this week we had the GW preview where they talked about all the game system and stuff that is coming down the pipeline. Part of that was
the World Championships in, I think it was Georgia. So there was a bunch of reveals.
There's a grand narrative too besides the World Championship. So there's a narrative 40K thing as well.
Well, they call it the Grand Championship preview. So it was Old World, 40K, Age of Sigmar twice, Heresy, Black Library, and then 40K again as a secret closer. So Old World, Empire is coming back. Finally, they couldn't stick to their roadmap that said Empire was supposed to be out in August, but now they're going to come out sometime next year. I'm really happy because Empire was the army I really wanted to do. I've got a lot of old Empire stuff that I always kept trying to make armies out of. I don't like the fact that one of their main units is going to be made to order only, and so it's going to be a super small release. I think that's kind of dumb. 40K wise, we got the Death Corps of Krieg army, and I mean army. It came with a special character on a special horse, the Death Rider unit, the Engineer unit with a Street Sweeper shotgun grenade launcher,
and the Cyclops.
And a weird Cyclops drill thing with a mine. A new piece of super field artillery that comes on a brand new base size of 130 millimeters. For those who are trying to figure it out at home, the Cadian artillery comes on 100 millimeter bases. What's 100 millimeters? That's a CD. This thing is 1.5 CDs.
It's like Demon Primarch base size.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Then you've got the command squad with not only a commissar and medics, but a junior commissar and a pair of servo skulls writing out all the dead people. And you've got heavy weapons teams with a dual heavy stubber that we've seen from Forge World, the last cannon team. And the only one I don't like is the heavy flamer on a cart. I think that could be 2 people, but that's me. This is, if you want to do Solar Rock or Militia, Merry freaking Christmas.
I loved everything about it. I'm not going to lie. It made me so happy.
Where are my shovels?
That is exactly what I was going to say. Where the fuck are the shovels? Because they're Death Corps of Krieg. If they don't have their power trenching weapon, I'm pissed.
I have a 3D printer.
Even the big guns don't come with shovels. They come with spanners and wrenches and everything else, but no shovels.
So it's going to be a shovel, a power weapon shovel.
Accessory sprue.
Yeah, Victoria Miniatures makes shovels. I know that much.
I mean, I'm not going to complain if that happens. If people
She's going to sell out.
They're beautiful miniatures. I'm actually very tempted to do a Heresy army out of them, but like, yeah, they got to have shovels. They have to.
Would anybody be pissed if somebody did a Heresy army out of them?
No.
I don't know if anybody would, because there is stuff that goes on Krieg in the Heresy.
Hence why they are the Krieg now, because they
half of them went traitor and they never told anybody, and then they had a rebellion.
And they got sentenced to basically life imprisonment and indenturement to the
I'm looking back at the artillery, and there's a dude on the firing step, perfectly posed. Like, I just want 100 of that dude and just make a cool diorama.
There's literally billions and billions and billions of human people fighting in the Horus Heresy. So any model that's halfway close, I'm not going to be upset with.
Well, I mean, it's Milita. I mean, you can use them as Milita. Wouldn't you be able to, John?
Yeah, easy. You could easily use these as militia. You could easily use this as Solar Rock. Either way, if you want a more fancy specific army and you don't want to have to keep. I mean, the Grenadiers are armored up. They have special like skull gas masks and everything. They've got all the right weapons for all the special Solar Rock units. Like, you don't even have to convert.
I mean, like ours. What about the horses? Would you be able to use those in the Milita?
Yeah. So militia has a special. Or is it Solar Rock? I think it's Solar. No, it is militia that has a special recon unit that's on horses, and you can take mounted rules. The rules are technically there so you could use the Nuclear Cult Outriders, but it doesn't say that it has to be a motorcycle or anything. It just says mounted cavalry.
It could be a gas mask wearing horse, you know.
Yep. And there's a special rule for mounting your character on one. Yeah. So you're ready to go.
So
in fact, don't be surprised if you see the commander riding that horse.
This just in. Solar Ox 2026. Doing it right now.
Oh Lord.
Better start.
You're actually going to do it. You're going to force Duncan to do it.
Oh no! This I've been wanting to do a Death Corps army since I found out what Death Corps were when they were first released, and I think this has probably just pushed me over.
Well,
the Grenadiers have those little Mauser look-alike las pistols. Like, you keep looking, and I keep finding new stuff to like.
You could get the current sprue that's out right now, which is still amazing. And
that current sprue is still going to be their basic line infantry.
Yeah, I mean
this is all just the special stuff that came out, and it just fleshed out the army entirely.
Well, I mean, like, what else would be missing from it? From like other than like heavy tanks, right?
Yeah. So you don't. If you technically wanted to build the Vrak Krieg army, you don't have the Vrax Russes, which are technically almost the Heresy Russes. They had a lot of the same upgrades on them. The hull is a little different. It's a little it's more sloped.
Well, they're taller too.
Yeah.
So, but like the new Solar Ox Russes are kind of very close to the Mars pattern ones.
Yep.
They're just more riveted.
Because Vrax is where the Malkador came from,
right?
Originally, in release timeline. So, yeah, you've got almost everything that came out. Some of the special weapons or the heavy weapons are a little different, and some of the special weapons are missing. The ogres were all.
They got German stick grenades too.
Yep. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
hot.
yeah, they're pretty. These are very, very pretty.
So nice, so nice.
So yeah, you basically would need tanks, which I guess you could use the Solar Rock stuff for. It'd be like the Lemon Russes, and then Malcadors, and
And
then the what's the big one? The huge troop carrier thing.
Gorgon? No.
Yeah, Gorgon.
No.
Gorgon, yeah.
So the
Hey,
Gorgon
Jack.
came back into production, and so you've got ways to get that now.
Right.
Hey,
You don't
Jack,
have the
just
standing
in,
at ease guys.
Yes.
just in case, Victoria miniature shovels only come one.
Mhm.
You get one shovel and a pickaxe, but Anvil Industries has a set of 5.
So like
I raise your Anvil Industry with a Saturn 8K that I have sitting beside me.
Nope. You're good. I understand.
I'm going to Cult 3D right now looking for Krieg shovels.
You could. I also
I
found
might be tempted.
on Colts 3D. There is a company that makes the like air filter add-ons that Krieg had with Forge World originally. A file where you can download it. So there's a lot of stuff on there.
Mm.
Not that I've looked.
All right then.
We're not even to the heresy stuff yet.
Well, for long-term players, like there's certain things
I get it.
that this that was it the Elasian drop troops, that was something one of the groups I was in was talking about, like bringing those back. Like there's some stuff like that was really hard to get when we were younger because of being Forge World and not having money, that now in our later years where we now have a little bit of money and they've made it easier to get.
Yeah, I get it. I had a Steel Legion army that I'd built up over years and years and years, and I had to sell them when the body decided it didn't want to move 200 metal infantry anymore all the time. So I get it.
Oh, they
I
need a
look forward to
Malcador.
seeing all of it.
The Vulcan. They need the Vulcan Malcador. That would be.
Yeah, and the turret Malcador,
Yeah.
most
Look
useless
forward to
one
seeing
ever,
what
but
everyone
it
does
was
with
pretty.
it.
All right, so we've gushed about them. Let's move on to heresy stuff.
Well, I'm changing my.
First was obviously the plastic harvest lighter. Finally, the most basic transport in the game comes out. And honestly, if you looked at
What
like
do you mean the little pig?
fluff wise, production probably these things probably were outproduced or were more produced than the Rhino. They're used by literally everyone in the world. In the Imperium constantly uses them to ferry goods or transport troops. I like the fact that it has a fully detailed interior and cockpit, whereas the resin one only had the cockpit. It was just glued together. So I definitely look forward to the Mallard.
The Angry Mallard. Also it has a door gunner. And it
Yeah.
looks like it's almost as heavily armed as a Imperial Valkyrie at this point, too.
Yeah, I'm hoping that those missiles on the front in the assembled picture is a Havoc launcher. They really like adding way too many barrels for a Havoc launcher on most of the other stuff. And then they added this weird, I guess it's an airspeed sensor from a Prowler on top of the thing that sticks out further than the cockpit. I don't understand that. I'm just gonna cut that off.
I don't know
buy
if
them.
it's a gun or they use that for like prototype aircraft when they're testing them for like airspeed and stall sensors or whatever. Which I was like, is that supposed to be a gun? Because if anything, it looks like a sonic disruptor or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's very odd, perched up there, and it's one of the only things that really knocks it from matching the resin kit. Next up, we have the Valdor Tank Hunter. So this is a variant of the Dracosan that swaps the transport capacity for a neutron laser. I was literally just looking at resin upgrade kits to 3D print to turn the Dracosan into a Valdor to add some little punch to my Cobras, and so this is nice to come in plastic. And at the same time, is dropping the Malcador Infernus, which swaps the transport capacity for a Titan grade heavy flamer, and then a little bitty trailer to pull behind it full of all the Bernie stuff.
Yay, Bernie stuff.
It's modeled up. Isn't it called a crocodile from World War II?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a tank that literally they replaced the turret with a flame turret, and it has literally a trailer full of congealed napalm that it pumps into the flame turret. Needless to say, people would aim for the trailer instead of the tank part of it, because the trailer would go boom.
Yep.
But yeah, same deal.
I think this has rules in the Solar Ox list. I honestly haven't looked, but they did confirm that it still uses the Hellstorm template, which that doesn't get enough use in my opinion. And Solar Ox's big problem when fighting other Solar Ox is dealing with the bunches of infantry that are out there.
No.
And this keeps true to their form of what are we getting in the future? Tank. And then the next reveal was Derideo weapons, or Dorito, or
rodeo.
The rodeos. So this is called Weapon Set 2. It comes with the Calyx blast cannons, the Volkite arms, and the 4-shot anti-air missiles.
Or the Dorito.
And
so what are
and
we
I
missing?
think
The purvey.
there's going to be a kit that includes these weapons and selling the weapons sprues separately for folks that magnetize, I believe I read.
Yeah, so they said that they're going to do 3 releases at the same time. So you've got the existing Dorito with the autocannons and plasma gun and big missile back. That one, I guess it's going to be discontinued, but then they're going to sell this new Dorito with the last cannons, Volkites, and anti-air missiles. And then they're also going to sell both those weapon sets separately. So you can just get set 1, which is the, again, autocannon, plasma cannon, big missile box, and set 2, which is last cannon, Volkite, 4 missile rack.
Now, if I had to guess, those would be like splash or limited edition. So that's
the sprues, yeah, they probably will, because right now, if you go to the GW site, they still have the Leviathan sprues up, but they don't have the Contemptor sprues up. So if you're looking to get this stuff, if you want to I've honestly stopped magnetizing dreadnoughts except for the top weapons, so I'm probably not going to be buying a lot of these sets because I've got a Dorito of each of these weapons now, except for the plasma cannon. So I've got that the plastic one to build yet.
I never had a resin one, and the plastic one, you barely even need to put magnets in it, and there's spots pre-made to magnetize them, so it's like the simplest magnetizing model ever.
The thing I worry about is plastic's going to be a lot harder to bend those feed cables, and so you pretty much have to have this thing facing forward at all times. I bought some third-party ammo feeds from eBay. Gundam makes a bunch of cool ones. So does Zinj Industries for the autocannon and just the autocannon ammo. And then I've got some third-party hoses and cables and stuff and braided hoses that I use for a lot of my upgrades that I use for the last cannons and the Volkites and the plasma. Just because I like to pose my dreadnoughts a bit more. You know, anti-aircraft guns should be aiming up. That's really it for some of the stuff we can steal, apart from, I guess, the Eldar stuff happened during the Heresy, but they finally got their almost all the aspectories in plastic, as well as almost all the Phoenix Lords, and then the Warp Spiders Phoenix Lord is finally out. It was kind of hinted at throughout the fluff for the last 30 years that they had one, we just never saw it. So it finally came out. From unofficial GW, Joy Toy dropped previews for Raldoron, the Contemptor Incandeus, the Dreadnought with the jump pack, as well as the Dawnbreaker cohort model, or toys. If I played Blood Angels, I'd probably get these. These are pretty freaking cool. And the Dawnbreaker ones come with the new improved jump pack display base. You get a little more movability out of them. From Starforge, they're running a Black Friday sale right now that goes until the 25th at 1 a.m. So probably if Jack gets this out as early as he usually does, he'll have a couple hours to get to it. The discount code is champion, and then you get some discounts. They really haven't had any releases this week that I noticed on there, apart from completely revamping the website to make it a lot harder to use, like most things in the world that GW touches.
It's a classic GW move.
Yeah, except these aren't GW, it's other people, and they shouldn't be affecting these other people. I like these other people, not screw with things. On official releases, Duncan and I were waiting the release of Interceptor City, and I can officially say that GW has found the price point where a book won't sell out. Interceptor City is the mega limited edition that contains a clothing patch for the unit, a pin badge, a map, and a complete second book inside there of pilot's notes for Avenger Strike Fighters, as well as the book itself, Interceptor City, for a whopping $170 US before tax and shipping.
So let me guess, you
I'll
bought
say I
two.
bought it
One
because
to-
I really like that campaign, and I've pretty much bought everything that has to do with the Ghosts and the Sabatine Crusade. But that was hard.
It has a map, Duncan.
But it's not
yeah,
cloth.
yeah, it's not a cloth map. So hang on, ranting.
It's not
for a
pretty
moment here.
watercolor.
It's
It's a
okay.
shitty map.
It's $170 to buy that. You're gonna get exactly what John said. The thing that really stands out to me is that you're gonna get the pilot notes for the Avenger Strike Fighter. I mean, that right there, that really
So here's
sells
my
it for
problem.
me. That
Here's my
really
biggest
sells it
problem.
for me.
GW has been doing this lately with these mega editions, and they've been baiting people into buying these. So the Sisters of Battle came out with two of them. One of them came with a hymn book with music, so actual piano music, and you can go on YouTube and search up Sisters of Battle hymns, and people actually have played them and sung them. It's actually kind of nice. But they keep putting in these special release books, and I hate that because there's no other way in the world to ever get them again. That I can't, if I miss this, and this is what GW seems their business model has changed to a lot, is FOMO. If you don't get it now, if you think you can get it later, we might not reproduce it. It might sell out. We might never make it again. And that's just their basic release stuff is FOMO now. It's not even the limited edition stuff like this book.
Yep.
It's just getting kind of annoying.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
That they're learning the wrong lessons from all these things. The consumer.
I absolutely hear what you're saying, John. I mean, just like you, I followed the Ghost since the beginning. I've got every single book that they've put out. I've got, what was it? The Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer that came out because of them.
I was going to say, those are, yeah.
I bought the Gaunt's models that I painted long ago and sold away long ago when I stopped playing 40K. And I buy collectors. I buy collector stuff just like you do, and I get that.
I've got the Ghost diorama that came out in the 90s when they made it out of metal. I've got.
Yeah, so we're in the same boat.
That one, there was the metal group of units that was the Ghost. There was not just the Uplifting Primer 1, but they reprinted it 2 different times for different battle zones.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're absolutely in the exact same boat here.
But at the same, I know you see the same thing I do, because the cloth maps are cute. I like the cloth maps. I don't mind spending, $50 on a cloth map.
Yeah, I obviously don't.
This map is bad vector form. Load the page. It looks like it's bad. It's basic. I'm sorry. I understand it's supposed to be a in-country or in-situ map, but still.
I'm having a significantly hard time convincing myself to get this. And when I say convincing myself, a hard time convincing myself I want to get it, I mean I don't want to buy this. And realistically, at this point, I am probably not going to do so. Because I just don't see the value in buying that at this point for me. I just don't.
Yep.
But hey, that's me. Maybe someone else out there does see the value in it. And if so, more power to them. I hope they get it. I hope it's great. I hope it's everything they could possibly want. But for me right now, it's just not what I want, unfortunately. But that's okay.
Yeah, I think this goes to the same thing that we were talking about with that $1,000 Starforged thing. That a lot of GW stuff is getting. It's not just getting priced out of the market.
It's
trying
pricing us out of the market.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's probably the best way to say it. It's not just pricing normal people out of the market. It's pricing us, and in normal world we'd be called whales.
Yeah. Yeah, we would be called the ridiculous people who do this kind of stuff and enjoy it. And instead we're sitting here like, yeah, it's nice.
Yep.
No thanks. I'd rather save the $180 and spend it on more miniatures, or spend it on, hell, at this point I don't even know what I'd rather spend it on, just not that.
Yep.
So, which is unfortunate because I was actually really looking forward to this when it was announced. I was really, really kind of hoping that it would be available and that we'd be able to get something awesome out of it.
The
And
last
maybe like
Ghost
50,
limited book
70
was
bucks.
only the last Ghost book was 120, and it came in a leather satchel with a campaign with a freaking banner.
Well, this is
what makes
reporter do not open box.
Yeah, I guess it's the magnetic cardboard box that makes it so valuable.
I mean, I've had some of the limited edition, like starter box, not starter boxes, but like the Apocalypse boxes, like the 1.0 and 2.0, and then some of the special edition. I guess they're about 8th edition codexes, like for Orcs, Tau, and Dark Angels. Those are all like magnetic boxes with like nice leather bound books that actually had extra pages in them that people don't even know were in if you didn't get them that way. So, I mean, like the Dark Angel one had a slip cover on it. If you looked at it, it actually had the names of all the fallen on it. So, which people didn't realize that was even available. So, but I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's a lot, man. It looks very cool. I'm looking at it right now on the website, and that Avenger Strike Fighter pilot manual or whatever.
Yeah, it really is cool looking.
I mean, it really is. It's just way too much. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, no offense. I've been having to do open heart surgery on my PC, and I just had to order a new motherboard, and I basically dropped $170 on the new motherboard today. So, and that's something that I'll use for work in home and stuff like that versus a book.
Yep.
So,
well, I mean, to put it in perspective, I have some classic D&D books that are worth money, and the most expensive one I have is going on eBay for about that much, right? And that's a 25-year-old small print, hard to find, D&D book, right? This is the brand
Steel
new
collector's edition of the Space Marine RPG that you could literally kill a child with if it fell off a shelf. Cost this much.
I mean,
and it was personalized to the person buying it. They took the time to get a calligrapher to go through and write your name on the deed or the summon papers or whatever it was to join the and you could say what chapter. So I've got Brother Christensen of the Ultramarines, welcome to the Death Watch paperwork on this giant steel book that literally weighs 20 pounds.
How much did the
it cost this much?
How much were black books from Ford War? Weren't they about 100 and I can't.
They
They
were
were like
100.
they were like $95, 95 pounds. So it would have been like 130, 140 bucks
Yeah,
thereabouts.
I
I
think
mean,
that was book 10 was about that. Yeah, the other ones were in the 100-ish range.
okay. Well, they had that super big leather. They had the super edition of one for what is it, 1 through 4 or
3
3?
and then 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, book 3 and book 4 were both the super collector's editions that came with the book 3
Flip.
came with the art book that was all the collected sketches, which was really nice. But and then book 4 came with a
Flip case.
slipcase, and this was book 3, and book 4 came with a back and front weapons cheat sheet of all
Yeah.
the different guns that are in Heresy.
I don't know,
So
man.
yeah, I mean, hell, I've got that book 3 slipcase. I have number 0001, and I still balked at I'll admit I'm giving into the pressure I'm buying. I bought it, but it's still like I opened that page and I go, what?
Well, I guess you don't have to worry about it selling out this what do you call
Yeah,
them?
I that is the oddest thing is the fact that it hasn't sold out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's actually that odd about it not selling out at this point.
Maybe they finally found the price range that stopped sellout.
I mean, it's possible. Who knows at this point? But so damned odd.
Wow. What's kind of weird is it's got the Avenger Strike Fighter book, the guide in it or whatever, but like then on the patches it has the Voss
Lightning.
pattern lightning.
Yeah, that unit, and what's even weirder is that unit flew Thunderbolt.
Yeah. Well, it's also, this is taking, according to the fluff on the actual book, it's taking place after she's retired. So maybe it's something different. I don't really know. I don't know.
Do they have
Again,
do they have guys in it that fly a marauder too while we're at it? I mean,
I don't know, man. I really don't.
water
Yeah,
gunship.
they were doing escort missions for Marauders a few times, but yeah, it was. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I try to stay away from even the previews now because I screwed up before and slipped some spoilers in the preview articles, so I learned to just stay away from them.
Hmm.
But that is all of our news.
Yeah. It's been kind of news heavy lately with stuff.
We didn't
But
get a
also
Heresy
kinda
Thursday,
not.
but we got a Heresy Friday, so I mean it was okay. And it was a decent amount of stuff they showed.
Yeah, I agree there.
I mean, I know people are all up in arms about it, but I mean, you had Marine stuff and you had Solar Rock stuff, and then I mean, most of the people I saw complaining were like, "Why didn't we get the Dark Admech stuff?" And I'm like, because like they said it was going to be a long time for all that, and most of those Walker models are huge. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing how that plays out. If they're going to be plastics with resin conversion kits to make some of the other weirder ones, or what's going on there, and then as well as just those coming out in general, so that they could come out for both AT and Epic at the same time. Which I like the fact that they're doing that. They're giving the AT rules alongside them to keep that game alive.
yeah, I agree. But yeah, I wasn't really expect. I mean, they even said don't expect these models to be out in plastic anytime soon because people are asking about it.
Yep.
So, I mean, can't people just be happy? I mean, like that. This was a lot of stuff that they previewed. Like, even though like Death Corps technically isn't Heresy, you can definitely use it for Heresy. So, I don't know.
Well, and I've never had a huge interest in an Arbus lighter, but a plastic one might draw me to buying one. And for sure, I won't. I've magnetized my Daredeo and will buy the rest of the weapon options because why not, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm happy to see releases for Heresy and releases for things we can use Heresy, and it looked like some cool stuff. So yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, they all look cool. Everything looked great. I mean, I have no complaints about like any of the sculpting or anything like that either. So
Yeah, even the Age of Sigmar stuff. I mean, I don't play orcs or goblins or whatever those things were. They had some pretty neat looking models in there. Some redesigns of the old Doom Diver and stuff like that were pretty cool.
Yep.
The wolf models are starting to look a lot more realistic. So, some really cool stuff coming from every which way.
Yeah, I'll agree there.
So
you want to take us into our announcement, Mr. Duncan, and then on to the topic?
Announcement. What was this announcement supposed to be? Do you remember?
I can do my announcement, and then you want to do your and see if it jogs your memory to your announcement.
Sure, you do your announcement first, and I'll see if I remember what my announcement was supposed to be.
All right. So last week we started with the 2-week hobby challenge.
Yep.
And what is the first rule of accountability buddies? Is to make sure that your buddies are always accountable.
I thought it was we don't tell people about Fight Club, but okay.
Same. I'm with you,
Yeah.
Jamie.
No one should play Tau ever. That's another rule.
That's how I got in the hobby. So yeah.
So the keeping with the rule of always keep your buddies accountable, I think what we should do is we should keep our Discord members accountable. And so I propose that every 2 months, so let's start in December. And so at the end of January, that last show, we will look at who has accomplished their 2-week hobby goals. We will create a new Discord channel for all this. And for everyone that has accomplished their hobby goals, as well as one free entry for every one of our patrons, we will do a drawing, and that person will get their choice of either A, some new hobby tools from Daiso. Daiso and Hobby Lobby both have been coming out with their own line of hobby tools. That includes weathering sticks, the paintbrush pens that I use for doing decals, that you can also use for scribing and things like that.
Oh, they've got their own.
What was that?
They've got their own the watercolor brush things now. Like
yeah, Daiso does.
Nice.
Or one of the limited Heresy Accountabilibuddies pins.
Oh yeah.
So the person that wins will get their choice of either the tools or the pins, depending on, if they've won it before and they don't have those things, or if they, already have a pin or something like that. Anyway, either way, they can, I'll give them an option. Every 2 months, we will do a drawing based upon those entries, and they will get that prize. It's a good way to keep everybody in the space accountable to make sure that we're all reaching our goals, because we are 120 days away from Adepticon.
Yep, almost exactly 4 months.
Let that sink in, listeners. 120 days to get your crap done. That ain't very long. I know, because I'm building 3 tables. So we need to start kicking it into gear, figure out what's going on. Building 3 tables and a secret. That's even better. But yeah. That is my news. I'm saying that we're going to start having, I will make the channel tonight, and then we'll start putting stuff up there. And so that way, at the end of January, because we're going to kick this off in December, at the end of January, we'll do the drawing.
That sounds reasonable enough.
That way we'll have 2 drawings leading up to Adepticon, and then continue it going forward. So Duncan, did that help you revive your memory?
I'll be honest, no. Was it the
Web
health
store?
and wellness thing? Oh, no. The web store. I mean, I could announce the web store thing. I mean, I could say that if you've listened this long and you got to this point and you were to go to our web shop from heresypodcast.com, you might be able to use code HeresyABB from now through the end of Cyber Monday. and get 10% off because right now that's all it's letting me give. But yeah, you could do that. That would be good if you did that. Heresy ABB.
Heresy ABB?
ABB is Heresy ABB.
ABB?
Heresy ABB. ABB.
ABB?
That's 10% off on the shirts and the hoodies, both types of hoodies too.
10% off with Heresy ABB at checkout?
Yeah, 10% off Heresy ABB at checkout.
10% off of Heresy ABB at checkout? You don't say.
I don't. You're right. I don't say.
Why is it the simplest stuff makes me laugh?
Because you're simple, sir, and that's one of the reasons that we tolerate you.
Simple Jack, what?
Simple Jack.
Lordy.
There's sometimes, Jack, yeah, when the funniest things to me are the most absurd, and they shouldn't be funny, but they are.
I think it's because we all have a 12-year-old boy.
An inner 12-year-old.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, but just because I haven't opened my basement in a while.
Oh God, John.
So, what was our main topic of conversation tonight, Duncan? For the love of God, save us from the government.
Keeping yourself, your friends, and everyone who's involved in the hobby around you that you wish to encourage accountable during the holiday season, and keeping yourself healthy enough to do the hobby. Look, I'm gonna not pretend or mince words or anything. I am a fat bastard. I understand this. I accept this. I have been a fat bastard since the words fat and bastard came into existence together. If you look it up, you'll find that definition for me, or you'll find a picture of me under that definition, probably somewhere on the internet. And that's okay.
You resemble that?
I fully do resemble that. But I'm taking steps to correct some of the fat bastardy moments bits. Not the bastard part, just the fat bit. Because if you're not here to do your hobby, and because you decided it would be a great idea to have a heart attack at age 50, well, that sucks. Let's not do that. And we all need to actually take painstaking and honest looks at ourselves and sit there and try to correct that. If that is a problem you have. If you have a different problem, it's the holiday season. Let's take a look at ourselves and hold ourselves accountable and try to make ourselves better for our family, our friends, our hobby, and try to help and encourage others who are doing the same thing.
So
I know.
I will say that healthy isn't always easy either.
No.
I know I am not exactly fit either. I fit those descriptions very well, and I've been doing stuff to get better about that. Spent my hobby budget a couple of years ago on a treadmill, and this year it broke down, so I've got to spend my budget again on one. And then, because I have freakishly large feet, anyone that's met me knows they're size 15. And so trying to find shoes that fit that when I was younger, not exactly the greatest thing. So I have foot problems. So then I had to go visit a doctor a couple weeks ago and then had to fight them all the time. But if problems come up, you've got to work through it. We enjoy everyone that's listening to this podcast, hanging out with them on Wednesday nights or going to events with them, or that's why we keep doing this, and that's why we keep doing prizes and giveaways and things. Is not just to keep ourselves and keep you accountable, but because we enjoy talking to and hanging out with everybody.
Yep. I mean, that's kind of what got all of us together, was holding one another accountable. Thanks to Jake and to Pretty from the old Covered in a Fire podcast, setting up the hobby goals thing that we all did for one at Dethroned together, and then us taking it from there as that group and then this group. If you don't take care of what you need to take care of for both your hobby and yourself, are you really going to enjoy your hobby as much? Are you going to be able to enjoy your hobby? Are you going to be around to enjoy your hobby? And conversely, are you going to be able to be around to enjoy your family who supports you with your hobby and that we often all use our hobby to escape from as kind of a break. So
What? Me? What?
yeah. So I'm just wanting to encourage everyone out there to not only take a moment to step back, look at themselves, and try to figure out what their own, not just their hobby goals are, but what their personal accountability goals are, and to encourage their friends to do the same so that they can hold themselves accountable and so that the group who you associate closest with can also hold yourselves accountable as well. Um, I was talking about this with Jack literally, I think it was a week and a half ago now. Am I right, Jack?
More like 3 weeks ago, buddy.
Was it 3 weeks ago? Jesus.
Yeah.
Where has the time gone? Okay, well, anyway, so we were talking about it 3 weeks ago. And yeah, so yeah, that's really it. Just holding yourself and your others, your friends, and everyone else accountable, and encouraging others to do the same. And when you're doing this, it's not the whole you're gonna fail, you're gonna fall, you're gonna be terrible at it, so don't worry about it. No, I mean it's just like painting. Everyone starts off at a basic beginner level of stuff. I'm not saying that we're all at the same place on the fitness path or the holding ourselves accountable for our health path, but all of us should be willing to do it just to be able to go forward and be around and be able to hang out and spend time with our friends moving forward in the future.
So while we're on this topic, I'm going to throw out a suggestion that someone at my work made. Um, there is a book out there called Atomic Habits, Atomic, Atomic. And it is a very, I'm not one normally to like how-to books or self-help books or that sort of thing, but this is a very common sense, actionable way to make positive changes. And if you need to make a goal to improve your health and your fitness, this gives you methods of doing so. And at the core, it is you're going to do things that are easy, and you're not going to do things that are hard. And this is goes through and very actionably talks about how you can build habits and make um, habits a reality by making the things you want to do easy and the things you don't want to do hard. So, um, it's very important to me, right? I just like everyone here, right? Um, the accountability thing probably got me painting more stuff in that time frame than I ever have, and similar challenges since. And for other things, I'm also 40 pounds heavier than I need to be right now, at least, and need to be getting into action. But I recently read that book, and it's, you know, it can help. So just as an extra piece of information that might be helpful to someone.
I've got one other thing to add, Duncan.
Go ahead.
Being accountable to your buddies and your hobby isn't just about hobby. So, like you said, we use this to escape a lot from family, but the other important thing to remember is you don't always have to run away from family. Now, obviously, if there's abuse or other things going on, you don't be with them, but always make sure to at least try to connect with family if they're not, abusive or bad or something like that. It's not just about trying to stay with the people you like hanging out with all the time and with your friends or online or things like that. In-person connections are really important. So don't just say, oh, I got to go hang out with my family, or oh, I got to go with my in-laws this month for Thanksgiving or for Christmas.
Are you calling me out? Because it sounds like you're calling me out.
I feel attacked.
No, I have family that I don't like and I didn't like hanging out with, and until they physically did something to me to leave off here, I didn't want to go hang out with them until I was kind of forced to, and then I enjoyed hanging out with a lot of them, and then some of them didn't enjoy hanging out with me too much. But there are other people to reach out to.
Yeah, there are.
And I mean, like, if you have friends that that used to hobby with you or still hobby and haven't been very active or kind of fallen, I'm not going to say fallen off a cliff, but have like kind of disappeared, it might be a good time to check up on them because this time of year is usually can be pretty rough on a lot of people.
It can be, and that's kind of also another part of it. Look, we all get that the hobby is the hobby, and life is life, and everything's expensive, and everything's hard. Just remember that part of being accountable is also being able to be there for your friends when they go, hey, I'm having a really shit time. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. I'm having mental health issues. All of us have mental health. You might not think about it. You might not know about it, but I promise you, you do have it. Even if you think that you're a rock and you can get through everything, I promise you, someday you may need the help. And that's what, in part, some of this is here for. Um, we've helped one another. John's helped me. Jack's helped me. Everyone here has helped me when I went through personal strife 2 and a bit years ago. We all in the community and our group here pulled together to help John back at the beginning of this year. That's what the group and everything are for. Don't struggle through alone. If you need personal motivation, holding yourself accountable, reach out to us. Reach out to a friend. That's what we're here for. That's what friends do. They help one another. And if you don't have friends that do that, reach out to us. By God, we will help you get through. We'll do it with a whole bunch of probably rude remarks and standard typical insulting commentary and pointing fingers at one another and being ourselves, but we're here. It's a resource. Use your resources. Help yourself to help yourself get better. Help us to help you to help you.
The other part about that is that, I know a lot of us guys grew up in an age where, toughen up. There's no, if you're feeling down or something's wrong, you just take care of it. And, you know, professional help is not a weakness, right? Mental health is the same as physical health. And, if you have cancer, you go see a doctor. If you have depression or any sort of mental health issues that you need help with, go see a professional and let them help you because that's their job and it's what they do. And there's no weakness or shame in it.
No, no matter what, don't be ashamed if you're a fat body like me. I fully own it. Take steps to get better. That's what I'm doing. If you want help motivation, we will happily set up a channel to help motivate you and help motivate me and help motivate one another to get better. And if you don't want to talk about it publicly, we can set it up to where it's private. You want to just reach out to me or any one of the guys here or anyone else who's in your circle, do that. And if someone else reaches out to you, it means they trust you. They consider you a friend, someone they can lean on in times of stuff going on in their life. Help them. Don't judge them. Don't just dismiss their concerns. Don't just dismiss their actual request for listening and help. Listen. Help them. Go from there. That's about all I got.
What if I told you there was one more secret thing to cover this episode?
I wouldn't be surprised knowing the strange secret things we keep coming up with.
All right. So, months ago, Will gave me some terrain to review.
Oh, no.
Anyone remember that? It was a while ago.
Wait, hold on. I'm trying to remember. I remember that you messaged me about this like 3 weeks ago. You said you had found some of it.
Yeah, so here's what happened. Will dropped off a giant bag of terrain. I went, yay, giant bag of terrain. And then I started cleaning my house. And what happens when we clean things? We put things where they don't belong. Because that's how my brain works. And so
yeah,
I lost the bag of terrain because it was sitting on top of something else that got moved, and then that got moved. And I finally found the stuff. So here, I'm going to open it live on the podcast. This is from Snot Goblin Gaming. You may have seen them doing a lot of Facebook advertising because they just did another Kickstarter for another batch of Snot Goblin Gaming terrain. And this terrain promises or promotes themselves as future-proof terrain. What that means, and I did a lot of research about this to make a review earlier, but that never came to pass because I never knew where the terrain was. All of their terrain can be assembled in multiple different ways. They make it so that it's modular even after it's painted. A lot of people claim that the new GWZM terrain is modular. I've never really found GW terrain to be that modular unless you glue magnets on it and do a bunch of extra work. This stuff literally has frost and pins on every surface. So the bases have frost, the walls have pins, the floors have troughs and pins. You can build up multiple stories in these things. It's definitely an interesting design, and what I'll do is I'm just opening it here on the podcast now, but I'll take a video review a little bit later. They have blown out buildings, they have blown out floors. So it really allows you to kind of build up any which way you want. And you can also, if maybe your game system decides that you can see infinitely through the void of every blown out building, you need to start blocking off the lower levels, aka 40K. You can do that quickly by punching stuff out and putting new stuff in. And I'm doing my first assembly here live and with y'all, and geez. It can only go the way it's supposed to. So I am trying to put a floor into a wall, and even though the connectors kind of look similar, they are just a little bit off so they don't line up. That is actually really cool. That way you're not going to accidentally mess up and try to build something incorrectly.
Okay. Do you think it'd be easy to do an entire table with this stuff? Would it look cool?
It would look cool, but I think the other problem that modularity brings is going to be really bad with these, and that setup is going to take forever. Nothing in this set is larger than 3 by 3 inches.
Oh wow!
So is this something that's more for like it would work really cool for a display board setup?
Yeah, or if you've got a table that's semi-permanent.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you wanted to set something up and then you could think like 6 months later you want to change it up a little bit, that's what this would be good for. I don't see this being something you take down and build every game, or you're going to have to add an extra game building section into your table or into your deployment zone. Like this is a very, it's stupidly modular. I think it's always the best way to say how modular it is. Imagine if every Cities of Death piece was modular. That's what this is. It's thick plastic. Like I'm not going to break this obviously or bend it to breaking because it's something I'm borrowing, but I'm giving it a lot of pressure, and I'm not even seeing white press marks on this plastic. This is some heavy duty stuff. Now I'm trying to push on one of the tabs to see if they'll come off, and it won't. The other bright side is there's no cleanup on these. They are bagged individually. Each individual piece is its own individual, or each piece type is in its own bag. So all the floor tiles are in one bag, all the broken corner floor tiles are in one bag, all the connectors are in one bag. So check it out if it's something that you think you might be wanting to build up, or you might have your own space for. Like I said, I'll put up a little video review, maybe a couple minutes, give it to Jack this week. But yeah, Not Goblin Gaming is the company that makes this stuff.
Okay. Oh, one thing I want to talk to you all about before we call it a night. I heard back from the guys at the Bitter Duty Podcast who would be interested in coming on and recording and talking to us. Kind of spreading the word for us over there and for them over here. Anybody have an objection to them coming on in a couple of weeks?
No.
Never.
Okay. So since they're in England, they have different time zones, kind of like we had before with Danny, and they unfortunately would have to be available earlier for us. So we would have to be available to record earlier during the day. I think I can make something like that work personally after Thanksgiving. What are you all thinking?
Let me know when, and I'll do my best to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically the same with me.
Cool.
Even if it's a weekday, I can get up early.
Okay.
Coffee.
works for me. I will talk to them about that, and we will try to see about getting them on here as well.
Is that it? Is that everything?
I think that's all.
All right, Duncan. Tell John to take us out of here.
John.
Back in better mic range. So
John,
thanks
take us
again,
out.
everybody, for joining us on this 104th episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. I'm John, and I've been joined by
Dan.
Duncan.
Jack.
Jamie.
And we appreciate you listening to us. Remember, always stay accountable to yourself, to your friends, and to your hobby. And sometimes that means your health, too. Have a good night, everybody.
There you go.
Like and subscribe, and see ya.